Hi everybody, it's Jaffe Jones and welcome to Real Estate News You Can Use Tuesdays at noon. And I just got a call that the new bed is on the way, so I think we have about 20 minutes or so to get this party started. And I just wanted to wait a little bit to see who jumps on this before we get into the plant-based meat of this online little session for you. So you're seeing that I am wearing the 2019 43rd annual Sandy Claus Beach Run, and just so many synchronistic things happen these days, right? And one of them is that I just got a Facebook memory, and you know how those memories on Facebook, you can turn them on or off. So if they freak you out and you just don't want to see them, it's totally okay to turn off the whole thing, or you can exclude certain people you don't want to remember ever. You don't want to see their face pop up in your feed ever again, especially in memory. So just so you know, you can do that on Facebook, which is really probably a good thing for our mental health. But the one that showed up today, even though it is a weekday, a year ago, it was on a Saturday, I guess, and I did this race. And it's not happening this year, although there is some underground chatter I've been hearing in our running club that people are just going to show up on the beach anyway and informally run, socially distant, I guess. But running has just been so devastated by COVID, and there was no better lesson of that than this weekend. And before I get into the sleep part of this, just wanted to share with you at the Florida State Senior Games this weekend, I got a gold medal for our 4x1 100-meter relay team, same event that I got the gold medal for at the National Senior Games when it was happening in 2019 in Albuquerque. So it was fun to kind of team up with at least one person who did go to Albuquerque and got the gold medal in that. I did actually every 6 and with the relay 7 track event at the National Senior Games. So placed in every event. They actually look like gold medals too, but I think they're supposed to be silver. Very beautiful medals, so we should not complain. And then 2 bronze medals in the other 2 events. And there's just a 4th place ribbon. I didn't get 3rd, but I got 4th. And that's considered placing. The way that works is if you place in the top 4 categories of your age group, which for me is 65 to 69, then you qualify to go to the National Senior Games, which I did 2 years ago. They only have nationals every 2 years. And because indoor track has been canceled, all the meets for that, the only thing that's available now are these outdoor track meets, which the National Senior Games and the Florida State Senior Games and all states, I believe, now are participating in. So any Olympic event you want to compete in, that's all available through the National Senior Games and filter down to the state and county level. You have to qualify in theory, at all of those levels. And the way it worked this year, because of COVID, there were many states that were not able to have the state finals like we did this past weekend. And as a result of that, they have now said anybody, if they do have nationals, and that's just a whole nother wild and crazy thing, which would be, I think it was supposed to be earlier in 2020 or 2021. It's now in November, and I spoke to some officials at the State Senior Games this weekend, and they said they have not been able to sign the contract yet, and it's going to be in Fort Lauderdale, which is cool that it's in Florida because I'll just only have to drive across the state versus flying across country, which a lot of people, including myself, have had to do in previous years. But bottom line is they haven't decided whether or not they're having them. They're scheduled for November at this point, and the contract, they said, if they are able to sign it, will open up or the venue will open up contracts in January based on what's happening with COVID. So all of this is kind of amok, and we're trying to figure out, how do we stay active? How do we participate? Hey, Karen, thank you. And Kathy, congratulations, thank you. Love the hair. Oh, yes, for those of you who voted in the hair thing, oh my gosh, I've never had a post that has been so viral. 300 or more people commented on which of the 5 hairdos they thought I should take or use. And of course, it shouldn't matter what anybody thinks. I know. But it was just a fun little post. I thought I would just see, how it went and just provide a little bit of sanity and diversion from the intensity that there is on Facebook. Oh my gosh. And all social media. Is it because we're just kind of cramped up in our spaces and we just have nothing better to do than snipe at each other? That's some of the things I've been seeing. I mean, these long-term vegans who have been friends with each other are going to battle over mask or not to mask. And I'm just not even going to put my foot in that, other than to say it's breaking my heart to see all the controversy and fighting that's going on. Thank you, Michelle, for that about the haircut. What I ultimately decided is what we all should decide. What feels good. And I got to tell you, I did the state senior games with, for those of you who are just jumping in, just kind of showing some of my medals. I did 7 events, so got all the medals here to prove that I placed. It just felt so good to not have to put my hair up in a ponytail, or even I do have to use a sweatband because I drink a lot of water, and which you're supposed to do and you should do, and so I sweat a lot. Hey, Christina, good to see you. All right, so behind me is, the current wall of, let's see, where are we at now? 205 5K or longer age group awards. That's what those all are for my age group. Just on plants in a 5K or longer. So I actually did place in a half marathon once upon a time. Thank you for that, Christina. So many people early on when I started competing in 2006, that was actually the first time I raced as an older adult, would come up to me as I'm wearing my Eat Vegan on $4 a day shirt, from the book that I wrote, and they would go like, what? You can't do that. You can't eat that cheaply. It's like, yeah, you can. And then they would even take it to that next level and say, oh, you can't run or race on a vegan diet. So it became this mission. All right, Bonnie, good to see you. All right, so I promised you that we would talk about sleep. And the weird thing about this, and I guess we all know this happens, right? So I was using voice dictation to describe what I was going to be talking about in this Facebook Live. And then on my laptop, I get, of course, within seconds, this is just so creepy, a whole thing from Mattress Firm, which is where I ordered part of my bed setup, about our blue light blocking glasses. Well, it was just a whole newsletter or something from Mattress Firm. So, are they listening? Is it synchronistic? I don't know. Yes, just eating plants. Oh, yes. Did we mention 68 years old? Okay. So anyway, if we do get interrupted here, and I am taking the tripod now into the boudoir, and we're just not going to get too personal on this, but sleep is the most important thing. Some studies actually say that getting a good night's sleep is more important than exercise and diet. And it's hard for me as an athlete to really think that's true, but let's just put, I'm going to sit here. Oh, we have Misty. Misty, come here, sweetie. All right, well, Misty, the tuxedo rescue cat, may or may not come join us. And I'm going to set up the tripod here because I just want to share with you. So what we've got here, I'm sitting on a platform. The platform came first, the mattress is coming second. And it's just so important. Maybe you want to share some of your, if you have some interesting sleep experiences. And you all know that I wrote 6 vegan books, and the 5th one was Vegan Sex, because what's good for the heart is good for other parts. And all my partners had not been vegan up until the age of 62. And when I had my first vegan experience, it was so wildly crazy and wonderful and different. I thought the world really needs to know, because healthcare professionals had told me my sex life was over, that I'd basically be a prune and it would be uncomfortable if I was ever lucky enough to get lucky. So, suffice it to say, it was just amazing, and that really just set me off in trying to find out what the science was behind this, because everything they said was going to happen didn't happen, and it was just it was a good thing, and I felt like guys really need to know. And if any of you have seen the Game Changers, then you will know that everything I said in Vegan Sex, which preceded that movie by about a year, is actually true. And they did all kinds of anecdotal studies in that movie showing that it really, really makes a difference. However, with sleep, sometimes, if you've had these experiences, whether it's been with a vegan or not, especially as we age, things happen to the brain. And I don't pretend to be a doctor or healthcare expert on this at all. But sometimes people get kind of restless in their sleep as they age, and you can, many people I know who have gone through this kind of an experience have had a sleep study done, and I've had a sleep study done just because my partner, when I was going through one of my experiences, had this issue of, and again, without saying too many details, I'm just really describing things that I have talked about since vegan sex came out and things that were in the book. Especially people who have suffered from post-traumatic stress syndrome. They can act out all kinds of wild and crazy things in their sleep to the point where they're actually completely unconsciously attacking their partner. If you've been through a situation like that, I remember at the National Senior Games, this was in Albuquerque a couple years ago. Hey, Cindy. I was sitting next to a young couple. They were obviously going out for the first time, and the woman was a neurosurgeon, and she was saying to her date, if you come to see me at an appointment, it's not really going to be a very good day for you, because that means that there's something seriously wrong. And so the guy was saying, is it really true that guys' brains shrink more rapidly than women's brains do as they age? And she's going, yeah. And she was going into detail about that. I mean, you can Google all this. It's out there. But I don't want to make anybody feel badly. But changes just happen. And so sometimes, you need more space in your sleeping quarters so that even if you sleep alone, you're not just, falling on the floor. And I've seen that happen, by the way, where sometimes, and I was told by the sleep study, the doctor that I went to, who, by the way, said my sleep function was really great. He said I was in like the top 3% of people who sleep at my age. It's like, okay, do I have to be first at everything? But it was just interesting. I am a very sound sleeper, except that my hearing's really good, so I wake up easily. So I have earplugs. I've had, used those over time. And, you just learn to deal with whatever situation you're in. And just because you're vegan doesn't mean, you've got this amazing sleeping body. There are all kinds of things that affect brain function. So, it's really important. If you think you do have issues, to go to a sleep doctor. I know some people kind of think they're quack and woo, but I really don't. Just because I've seen a number of people get help by these experts. It can be something as simple as taking more melatonin. So that's the interesting thing. Now we're going to go into what interferes with sleep, because that is just such a huge thing. And, I was looking online here I'm going to turn up the brightness here so maybe you can see this. And we do have Misty, the rescue cat. She may jump up and be part of the show here. So one of the things, and I kept my prescription glasses on my head because I wanted to show you these. I think you can kind of see it as we don't have a lot of sunlight here today, but these are blue light glasses. And Christina, I'm reading, I have combat PTSD and have a vegan-friendly avocado mattress, rescue queen size, actually a king. I should have it says see more. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. A sleep study done. Yeah, really fascinating stuff because it measures, how... Okay, so hopefully that you heard all that. I know that sometimes phone calls interrupt with Facebook Live, and I did not answer it. So yes, we're